Hey, this is Steven from Legit PC, and today we're going to review Lost Planet 3. So this game is a pretty good game. It's got a 10-hour playthrough on campaign, as well as a pretty decent multiplayer. So first we're going to go into the video options. So it's got a pretty basic video options selection. You got resolution, windowed mode, VSync, texture quality, word detail, and all different kinds of sets like motion blur, bloom, and stuff like that you can turn off and on. So I'm running a 660 Ti, a GTX 660 Ti, and you could run everything on full on that kind of card. So any kind of Radeon card or GeForce card that's around that quality could play it on all out and be perfectly fine. I'd highly suggest V-syncing it. It's not really a first-person shooter. Don't really have to worry about, those high frames in order for the smoothness. So I'd keep it on V-sync and not beat up your card too much. Alright, so now we're going to take a look at the engine. So this engine is running Unreal Engine. And this game looks really good. Textures are pretty good, and yeah. But let's see.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me!
So here we go. So that was the engine. Here's a little bit of combat. This game, it's got a 10-hour playthrough campaign, and the campaign's pretty good. Most of it. Unfortunately, the biggest part that it misses is that there's not too much secondary gameplay. And there is a little bit, but like you have to look around to find it. It's almost like an unlockable type thing, where you go back to places that you've previously been and look for certain key elements. It doesn't show you where those elements are, so you have to go and just look around and try to find them. And the guns, there's quite a bit of guns. Unfortunately, not as much as you would see in something like Battlefield. So there's, there's assault rifles. You know, these types of guns here, which I guess kind of like an assault rifle or a special weapon or a crossbow type thing. And then you have shotguns, and then you have regular rifles, and that's about it. And then you have two different types of grenades. And the customization for those guns is very minimal. Like, for example, the only upgrade you get for like a rifle is to attach a scope to it, and then that's it. And for the one that I'm using right now, the Valkyrie I believe it's called, you can only attach a repeater, which allows you to load in 3 rounds like I just did, instead of just 1 round. And for this gun that I'm using right now, not even an upgrade for that one, I don't think. So what else? The biggest thing for this game is that the cutscenes are really good, and the different types of monsters, the 8 grid is very good. There's each part of the game you'll find a new type of 8 grid, and you'll also see some old ones, but they'll come in waves of different types of 8 grid, and the boss battles are excellent. They're very well composed. And you'll find a lot of different bosses, and even if they're an old type of 8 grid, they'll be larger, and you have to fight them differently, as well as there's different ways to fighting them. As in, like, sometimes you'll be fighting them on foot, like I am right now, and sometimes you'll be fighting them in the rig, the utility rig that's over there drilling. And also sometimes you'll fight them with both. You'll fight them with the utility rig and on your feet. You'll do something with the utility rig, and then you'll get out on your feet. And then you have other little mini games such as this, where you have to complete them in order to move on. Here is welding of a pipe, little pipe, like a welding mini game thing. And here's a boss battle. So I don't know if I said it yet, but this game is a lot like Dead Space, and the music composition is a lot like Dead Space. And some of the places you go through, like you see this facility, this old facility. It is a lot like, looking a lot like the Dead Space 3, and you can also see that it even has the snow, you know, the snow type maps and stuff like that, similar to what Lost Planet 3 had. So yeah, you'll find quite a bit of comparisons between this and Lost Planet. Not Lost Planet, sorry, Dead Space. Dead Space. But here's a boss battle with the rig, and it's the same boss that I was fighting on my feet, except for another portion of it. So this kind of shows what the boss battles are like. You usually have, you know, cues like this. Z to shoot your arm and grab inside, grab his tongue as it goes inside his mouth. And as well as when they attack, you gotta hit Q, you know, to block it. And you have different weapons to do different things. So a lot of the boss battles are pretty good. Some of them you will forget what you're doing and you'll get killed quite a bit. So here you see I grab onto him, and you'll have a lot of instances where you have to do stuff like this, rapidly tap F to pull stuff in, and be able to influence the different characters and stuff. And here's a facility that would look similar to what you would see in something like Dead Space. And you can hear the audio is similar. And this is where you find a new acrid type. But it's not nearly as scary as Dead Space, so you won't have to worry about that. Or if you're looking for something like that, it's definitely not that type of game. There are some portions where like something will run across the wall. Maybe you get scared, maybe you don't. I don't know. So this is the type of combat that's kind of weird, where you're fighting, you know, you're fighting aliens that like to take cover and, you know, things like that, and you're taking cover from them, and they're shooting long range at you. Besides these different kinds, so those are the melee ones. So you have, in the same mission here, you would have the melee ones and the ranged ones that will jump at you. And here you have, if you get damaged to a certain point, you'll have little sections like this where you rapidly tap F, allowing you to get them off you and stuff. But as you can see, this weapon here is not very effective against those, so eventually I changed my weapon out to my rifle, my assault rifle. So as far as the campaign, there's not too many glitches in it, so it's pretty glitch-free, very, very continuous, good cutscenes, pretty good story. There's some parts where it doesn't have very good closure, and it'll kind of have random stuff here and there. Like they just kind of added it to fill in some backstory, but it didn't really fill in any backstory. It's kind of like some weird parts where they'll be playing cards or whatever, and they'll just add that in there, or where you're talking to, your character's wife, and it's just trying to clear up some questions that come up, like why his neck doesn't freeze outside, why his head doesn't freeze, and it'll explain that design idea to have, you know, Peyton here to have no helmet, but his head sticks out like that, and he doesn't freeze out in the cold, which they added that to, you know, talk about why they made that decision, so you can see character traits work. So here you have another part where it's ranged human against human, which you don't see much in the game till the very end. Also pretty good, but the AI with the humans is pretty dumb. They just kind of, you're shooting at them and they'll keep running towards cover. I don't even know if they even synchronize when they pop up or not, so they'll jump over boxes and try to charge you if they have a shotgun, which, I mean, is, I guess you call it that they're flanking. But it's a very lucrative campaign. I really like it, and I would definitely like it if you played the first two and you're looking for another experience. Even though this is by different devs, Sparks Unlimited, the choice for the engine is definitely really good. So here we're gonna do a little bit of multiplayer. If you want to see a lot more multiplayer, look at my day one footage. But unfortunately, the multiplayer is, when I played it right here, it is very, very disappointing. The anti-cheat is run by GameSpy, so it's basically nothing, right? So you're getting shot through the wall, not unless you get some sort of camo, not unless you get some sort of camouflage, but you're getting like sniped in the head. Like right here, that guy dies, but all of a sudden, I'm getting shot at. Right, like through the wall. You're saying I get sniped by that guy because he was hacking. And, you know, he's still there, and there's not very many people playing. But it was definitely really, really fun when it first came out, and there was no hacks at the time. But now that there's hacks, it's kind of, you know, it only takes one guy, it only takes one hacker in the game to make it pretty bad. As you see there, it's like I get one-shotted in the suit. So it's very unfortunate because it was a lucrative multiplayer. So I'm not going to talk about it too much. I'm going to show a little bit of the customization possibilities for your guns and things like that for the multiplayer in a second here. But it's probably something you wouldn't play because there's just way too many hackers. Kind of kills the big possibility of the game. They should have went with a better anti-cheat, but you know, for a small dev, I could understand. You know, they well not for even this game. It's small enough that they could, you know, that they could watch over by themselves. It could have been really good. I really liked it on my day one video, so if you want to see what it's like without hackers, I would check that out. So basically, if there is a whole bunch of hackers, it's basically sitting on its campaign, which is only 10 hours, so it makes it really rough for it to be worth the playthrough. Worth the money for a campaign and multiplayer game. So here is the progression sphere, which is on the multiplayer, which is very, very good. So as you go from square to square, you unlock more stuff, and the major upgrades are already shown, like the grenade upgrades or whatever's around it. And then you have, you know, the different classes where you have assault, spec ops, and support. So it's a really lucrative upgrade idea. I really like it. It's really good. I think I went to the assault side and got extended mags, and then you could see unlock weapons. All you have to do is move from square to square, and you get more unlocks that are hidden by the square. And there's the hunting rifle. That one I think is a multiplayer only. I didn't see that gun in single player. as well as once you go back to the home screen right before you're about to jump into a game, and you could change your layout to which guns you want and which grenades you want, and then you could set, just like Call of Duty, right? Set custom classes where you have different setups of guns, and then just run with those. So that's basically it. So we're gonna come to our conclusion here after just a little bit more footage, and we'll conclude, and I'll give my final thoughts. So this game is really good. Unfortunately, probably not worth the money. I probably wouldn't recommend it. It's got a pretty short campaign compared to some of the other games that I've reviewed. And now if you were thinking about buying it, the big games are coming out like Battlefield 4 and as well as Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed is probably going to be a lot better deal than this. I do like the Lost Planet theme as well as the Dead Space theme, kind of the distant planet type thing. But that's really cool, and I really enjoyed playing it because I like the concept. But the campaign was alright. That they still need some storytelling work, as it left some pretty big cliffhangers, and because it didn't have that great of closure. And the graphics weren't super there. They're running, the popular Unreal Engine, which I would probably say that was a good choice. But it's not, like Battlefield 4 quality. But it's average. It's there. So it's a good campaign. Multiplayer probably, if you get it 2 weeks from now or whatnot, probably not gonna be very many people playing it. Probably gonna be only hackers left. So I probably wouldn't recommend it to someone else. So I would probably not recommend it. I would suggest going with something else, and that's my take on it. If you want to play it and it looks cool to you, go ahead and play it, and let me know what you think in the comments. And yeah, so I wish it could have been better executed. So this has been Steven from Legit PC, and this is my review of Lost Planet 3. If you like my videos, please subscribe for other videos like it, and thanks for watching.